Dr. James Fletcher, a former climate negotiator, highlighted the years-long struggle for a dedicated loss and damage fund during the presentation at the German Caribbean climate talks.
This discussion on loss and damage started in 1991 when AOSIS, the Alliance of Small Island States, actually proposed an insurance mechanism to address sea level rise and other impacts, loss and damage from sea level rise and other impacts of climate change, 1991. Okay, I'm trying to do this through a window and it's not working very well. Then we have the Bali Action Plan in 2003, I think it was, 4. And then this will just, in the interest of time, we'll just go through quickly to show you the major milestones along the way, to show you how we got to where we are right now, which is the establishment of a loss and damage fund.
Dr. Fletcher detailed the devastating human loss of climate change, citing the impact of extreme weather events on vulnerable populations.
Dominica in 2015, when Tropical Storm Erica hit, that caused damage equivalent to over 90% of Dominica's GDP. 2 years later, when Hurricane Maria hit, over 200% of Dominica's GDP was lost in the space of 24 hours. When Irma hit the BVI, over 300% of damage, the 300% GDP damage to that country. So you could go from looking really good one day to being completely devastated the next day. That is the reality that Caribbean countries have to face every single hurricane season. Climate-related disasters are disproportionately bad for poorer households, and they also are much more impactful, fatal on low-income populations. So you see again the disparity. We have an intra-generational issue here.
Dr. Fletcher indicates the present financing severely undershoots required levels. He pointed out the vast discrepancy between the $700 million allocated to the Loss and Damage Fund and the estimated annual cost of $435 billion.
This was some work done by UNCTAD, the United Nations Conference for Trade and Development. It shows that the initial capitalization of the Loss and Damage Fund should be $150 billion a year. Last year, we got a capitalization of $700 million. Okay, so what we saw last year, as promising and impressive as it was, only represents 0.2% of what is required on an annual basis. 0.2% of what is required on an annual basis. That's what was mobilized at COP last year, and really we've not seen much more since then. $700 million pledged to Loss and Damage Fund, less than 0.2% of what is needed. However, the big 5 fossil fuel companies paid their shareholders an unprecedented $111 billion in 2023. This figure is 158 times what was pledged to developing countries in the Loss and Damage Fund.
Dr. Fletcher called for a two-pronged approach: continued international negotiations and exploring legal avenues to hold polluters accountable. Time is running out for Caribbean nations facing the devastating consequences of climate change. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.